So, this is the, not the knife we're going to be reviewing today. This is, as you've seen before, the Richmond Artifex M390. Done a bit of work with it. It's performed quite well. I've certainly liked it, but I wanted something a little wider, because particularly when you're cooking in the kitchen, when you're using a knife as a tool, pressing down on it to crush things or scooping things with it, the profile was a little narrow. And also Cliff, all of his, as you can see, I brought the profile back, excuse me, as well on here, and it's performed quite well as a kitchen knife. But I wanted a deeper blade, and Cliff had been talking so much about how he loved AEBL. I just had to try the taller one. Now this is the Artifex 240mm as opposed to this, which is a 210, and of course it's in AEBL. Couple things to note. First off, somehow it got, I'm not sure if you can see it, but on both sides of the blade it got a nice series of scratches, mosquito, longitudinally. There appears to be the odd stain on it from hard water. It's been used a fair bit, sharpened some. You can see the line here. It was also buffed for its initial edge, but I believe it came sold with an edge somebody else had applied on handstones. It's not as rounded, either on the spine or down here, as the other Artifex. And you'll notice it says Addict here. I guess it has the Addict blade profile. It's more convenient in some ways and less convenient in others. In terms of being able to get down onto the cutting surface, you can't do that as easily. But you get a little more space, a little more real estate on the blade, and it is convenient. It's still balanced right where you'd want it to be for use as a kitchen knife. And thus far I like it. I still find its edge retention to be lower than that of M390s. Cliff can debate that with me at some point. The other thing I'd like to notice is, that the handle finish doesn't seem quite as consistent. You can see it looks like in here somebody came through with a tool by hand. This is slightly uneven. There's a ripple or two in the rounding. Somebody heard the complaint about this pommel being square. I don't think this really improves it significantly, but I didn't think the square pommel was a problem in the first case, because again, you grip a knife like this in a pinch grip, you know, you're not back on the handle. There's no power chopping here, so you don't do this with this knife. So on both knives that was a non-issue, at least for me. And there's not that much to say about it, which can't be said about M390. In use, it appears slightly less stain resistant. It scratches more easily, it dulls more quickly. Other than that, it's comparable thickness behind the edge as the other knife. And I'll annotate or put it down in the description all the measurements for the knife, as well as a link to where I got it. And other than that, it's just about fine. I will say that people who've looked at it and just initially held it have not been as big a fan of it as they are some of the fancier looking Wustafs, things like that. And also this rounding, I actually liked the increased rounding on the other knives. It was a little bit better, even if it was a little bit less even than this is. But other than that, there really isn't that much to say about it. If you're short on dexterity, the length of the blade can become an issue, although it's now wide enough you can come up on it like this. But that's just about the long and short of it. Thin, effective slicer. I have done a little bit of things outside the kitchen with it, just as part of my testing, because I originally, for those who don't recall, purchased this M390 knife as sort of a joke to go out and say, because all these people, what was it at the time, the Ontario Blackbird or something like that, people were saying, well, you can't chop with that, that's not meant for chopping, knives can't tolerate chopping, you know. So I went out, and that was ATS 34 or the like, and so I went out and said, okay, M390, significantly lower toughness, significantly thinner ground, higher profile, thinner blade, you know, let's see if I can go chop hardwood with that, and I chop both supported and free-hanging hardware branches that you could both go through in one hit and couldn't, so on and so forth. And as you can see, it survived it just fine, and this survived it just fine. At some point, I am going to go in on the stones, and just like I did with this, bring this apex bevel up a little higher. But again, the knife came plenty sharp. And it has been sharpened since, and it just seems to work. The AEBL will allow it to very easily take an edge. It doesn't take much skill to make this knife sharp, certainly, and no specialized tools. I don't know how it responds to a butcher's steel because I just don't use them. But that should just about summarize this knife. And thanks for watching. I hope this is helpful. As far as a go, no go, would I recommend or not recommend? I guess I would. The one other thing I'd forgotten that I just wanted to note is there's something in the handle about this which is annoying. This is my one real gripe about this knife, and if you can hear, there's ever so slight a ticking sound, and it comes from the handle if you do that, and I don't know what's causing that exactly. Something's shifting slightly is my guess, and it's getting better with time, but that's just about it. Thanks for watching.